y'all doing out there today? Today's our season. Listen to those motorcycles. Today's the season finale. Season finale of episode 1. We're wrapping it up for the season. We'll be back maybe in the new year. We're gonna go into a little winter hibernation and check on some things. So how have you been since we last chatted? What's going on?
Good.
What's new?
I'm fine. A lot of progress, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot. I'm starting another training with my job, a hydraulic training, and then they're going to send me to a welding training. So a lot of different courses I'll be taking.
How do you feel about that?
Great.
You know what I'm curious about? Because I think we had similar but different educational upbringings where people may have treated us as if we're not as smart as we actually are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice a difference now, like learning as a young man, as opposed to
I thought I knew everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know that I don't, and I need that. I'm more hands-on with what I want to learn now.
And figured out that you're more of a hands-on.
I'm more of a hands-on
learner.
Guy. Yeah.
I same with me. And growing up, there was so much of, oh, you should take this test to see if you're slow, or this test, all of these things. And I'm just like, I get the shit. I just don't learn this way.
Tests,
same. I was the same.
I just got my driver's license because I didn't want to take my driver's test.
What do you mean you just got your driver's license?
Just got it. I'll show you, but yeah, I just got it last year or something like that. A couple of months ago.
All right, then.
Just because it was a test. Anything with the word test behind it, I'm like, I would get all, I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm just more of a physical, hands-on guy. Like, That's where I felt like if I'd have went the military route, that'd have been great for me because that's all physical. Right. Some of it's a little bit mental and there's tests and stuff, but that'd have been great.
Yeah, I think everything shifted when I went to college, because I got to pick my classes, right, and actually have some interest in them. And then when I moved into photography, it was just like, wow, this is all with my hands and my eyes and
I love
all of it.
Pictures,
so it was so much easier learning and understanding because you're actually practicing. Not like I'm going to sit down and do math. No offense for everybody that loves math out there. Yeah. So it's interesting as we move on.
The only thing that sucks about taking pictures is you really don't have any of yourself. Like I had to delete 2,000 photos out of my phone. And I'm just like, wow, I really don't take any selfies, or I really don't take any pictures of myself. Like there's just a bunch of everyone else.
Yeah, just documenting, observing.
Yeah. That's what I do, man.
Observing. Should we start today with an oracle?
Yeah, let's do that.
See what comes out. And we're going to do a recap of the whole season, touch on all of the topics we went through this year, and see where we go from there. What numbers rolling through your consciousness?
18
today. And I pulled 13 because
you like 13.
I like 13. But card 18 is El Mahor, Awakening Presence. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. El Mahor, Awakening Presence. And it's interesting because I feel that connects right back to exactly what you said. A lot of awareness and creating and growing and moving forward with all of the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
Awakening.
What's great about it, this all really started, like I've always had a mindset of why, right? Like why stuff in the Bible or just anything. I'd always question it, and no one ever likes when you question things. Like, why do I got to go to bed, and why this and why that? And it is what it is. But I'm 31 now. So I would say when I was 27, 28, it really started clicking for me. Like, what's really going on? Why? All the why questions started coming at me again. And it's great because I went through all of that, 29, 30, 31 now. I'm trying to voice everything that I've learned and that I've researched. And now I see my girlfriend going through the first stages of it because she's 28, right? And I don't know if it has something to do with age when you get to 28 and to your 30s or whatnot, but now she's starting to click. And I'm just like, yeah, well, that's curious. You know, I said that about 3 years ago, but, you know, and
so there is this idea, this thing called Saturn return, and it's roughly every 28-ish years. And we kind of, when we hit that marker, it's as if we start questioning, what am I doing? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? Which is what we should be doing as we go through life, instead of just kind of getting stuck where we are, but literally saying, where do I want to be? And asking that beautiful why question. Right. Because the more we can ask why, the more layers of the onion we peel away, and we get deeper to the core of what it is that we actually want. But usually us silly humans don't like asking that why question.
No, we don't. So she was like, all right, I get it. You've said this before. Like when I talk, I hear you like, damn, Elijah said this already. But she's like, you got to take it easy on me. Like, I'm sure your uncle don't do that with you. And I'm like, all right, because you don't.
Well, right. And we're all at our own space, right? We're all at our own level of awakening,
right?
You know, and it's not going to be, we're not all going to be on that same trajectory as everybody else. Yeah. And just to be like, it's fun though, to kind of chuckle and be like, I know right where you're headed. Like, I know the road you're about to walk down, because this is what starts happening.
Yeah.
And I think it's super important that we do question and talk and explore. Zuckerberg was on the Joe Rogan podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about, you know, throughout his day, he does these, I think he called them thought experiments. And it's just taking time to think about things and question things and explore, because how else are we going to know unless we're like, why? And if you think about, if you think about your daughters when they were probably 2, 3, 4, they hit that why? Everything is a why. They'll ask one question. Hey, can I have that? Or can we something? Why?
Yeah, I just want to know.
Why? Yeah. Right. And they just keep rolling. And if we can do that with everything, like keep it simple. Why do I want this? This morning I did a TikTok live manifestation Q&A little thing. And someone jumped on. It was like they were just there to push against anything that anybody was saying. Just like, but why? Why isn't it working? Why isn't it this? And I was like, that's great that you're exploring, but explore why you're questioning all of the things. Like, why do you not believe that you can do the things? Like, and I think all of us, everybody out there, dude, ask yourself why. What do I want? And then why? I want money. Why?
Right.
What do I want it for? I want that new Lambo. Why?
Right. I do that a lot when I'm shopping. Like, why do you want that, Eli? Are you sure you want that? You know, what are you going to do with it? You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, I won't fucking get it.
Right. Which sucks sometimes. And I forget who said this, but I heard it on one of the many podcasts that I listened to. And it was just very simple logic. If you can't buy 2 of them, you can't buy 1 of them. Which kind of sucks if you really want to, like, you know,
I've heard that before,
but I think it puts things in perspective. Like the person this morning brought up having a Lambo, and I'm like, okay, can you actually afford a Lamborghini? Right. Like if you can, awesome. But if you're going to get a Lamborghini because you think it's going to make you look cool, but you're going to be in debt forever. Right. Why have it? The cool is not going to give you anything.
No. Yeah. I'm at a point where I know I don't need any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like I used to want to have on expensive clothes or wear jewelry. I stopped wearing jewelry. I don't know. I want people to like me for who I am and not like, oh, he always got money because I always pull out a wad of money every time I'm paying for something or I'm just always doing something. I just stopped saying no. That's why I look so busy. You know what I mean? People ask me to go places and I don't tell them no. And I mean, if it's a bad environment or around people that are very negative, I'm not doing it. But I've eliminated those people from my life. So now if I'm getting asked to go anywhere, it's probably from a dope ass person, cool as hell with good energy. And I'm just always saying yes to things now. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'll go to that. It'd be weird stuff, right? Like the winery thing, right? Like I never thought I'd go to a winery, and dude, I don't want to go to a bar ever again because I've been to a winery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that beautiful thing that happens. Where it's like, oh wow, there's this whole other world out there that's really cool.
It's just the environment's different. So everyone that's at a winery or a beer, they have them
like a brewery.
Beer. Yeah, like a brewery. Those people are there with good intent. You know what I mean? Like they most likely have a good job, or they're just there with good intent to celebrate something. And most people in bars are just there because they're down and out. They're sad. They're lonely. They're depressed. And then you're mixing and drinking. And it's like, you'll see the craziest fights break out over some dumb stuff. It's like, bro, you start looking at them and you're like, they look possessed. Like, yo, what are you doing, bro? Like, you're just
right. I love it that you said it that way, because there is, alcohol is called spirits, right? Like it's spirits, but it's actual spirits that like drain your energy, and create this, I hate to say the word evil, but create more of a negative energy there. And for everybody that's listening or watching, Eli and I are in a section of Northeast Pennsylvania that is a little depressed, right? There really isn't like, oh, I'm going to go to this fun restaurant, bar, club type environment. But there is a bunch of little dive bars everywhere. And it's just the people that go in after their shift. And there's nothing wrong with this. It's just managing where you're spending your time. But then when you do put yourself in that space of, I'm going to go to a vineyard where people are just tasting wine. We're not here to get plastered, right? We're here just to sip on some wine, hang out and enjoy ourselves. Same with, going to a brewery. Like, I mean, just here to taste some good beer and have some good food and just chill and be happy. Not, I'm going to go into this dark bar and then the lights are turned down. It's 2 p.m.
And most of the time there's a sporting event going on. So you got 2 teams that hate each other in the same bar, watching the same game. It's like a mini war.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the energy just that is kind of there. And again, there's nothing wrong with this. If you're like, I love going to my little corner bar, great. Go to your little corner bar.
I love my bar too.
As we talked pretty much throughout this whole season, balance, right? Balance is the key. Find the balance. I don't want to say you don't want to, but maybe if you're going into your dive bar at 5:10 after you get out of work at 5, and then you're going home at 9:30 after drinking a shit ton in this sad, depressing, dirty, dark bar. How good do you think tomorrow's going to be?
Exactly.
Right.
You're setting yourself up.
Right. So it's just finding
thought about it like that.
Finding that space. This past weekend, Tina and I went to the Finger Lakes. Okay. And we spent Sunday at this beautiful spa called the Spa at an Inn at Aurora. Beautiful. And it was a gray, rainy day, and the spa was inside, outside. I just got a day pass, which let me into the spa to just relax, hang out, use the saunas. They had cold plunges, hot plunges, and then hot tubs, like things just like that. So I went just for the hydrotherapy. Tina went because she wanted to explore the whole place and see what it was all about and get some services done. So as she was getting her services, I was just floating around in the hot tubs, and it was beautiful because there was nobody there. Yeah. Like there were maybe like 4 other couples there. So most of the time, if I'm in the cold plunge, I was alone in the cold plunge. When I got out of the cold plunge, I went to the warm plunge. I was the only one in that pool. When I went outside, because it was raining a little, I was like the only one in the hot tubs outside. Right. And as I sat there, I just was like, wow, like I was nervous going because I wasn't sure how I was going to feel. Like, is it going to be crowded? What are all the people going to be like? And in my mind, I'm thinking, are people going to be snooty? Like, oh, we're at the spa. Yes. And it was just so beautiful and relaxing. And as I've been thinking about it, like I did a an Instagram reel about it. Just be like, what do you want to create? Like, put yourself in the situation that you want.
I do that.
Right. So you know what it feels like.
I don't care where I'm going. My energy's coming there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I make it how I want it to be. You know what I mean? So,
right. And then you sit and you're like, oh, right, I can take this feeling and then remember it and move on and be like, I'm going to do that again. And some people have, reached out like, well, I can't afford a day in the spa. I can't afford to do that. Okay. I really can't afford it either, but I would rather save money for a day in the spa than go out and spend $200 on dinner without even realizing it and come home and be like, oh, wow, we just spent $200 on dinner.
Yep.
And then most likely you can spend the day in the spa for $200 as well.
Right.
But you're just right where our priorities. And if we can actually start looking at things, it's like, write the shit down that you want and then figure out how to make it happen. You want to have a spa day, write it down. Like, this is my intention. And then figure out, right. All right. I'm going to put $10 away a week until I have however much money it takes to go experience this. And then once you experience it and you're just chilled and relaxed, and be like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I don't have to think this is just for this kind of people or this is just for that. Anybody can do this. We just think we can't because I got to get that new phone and I got to get the sneakers and I got to get. Instead of actually saying, what do I actually want? What do I actually want? How can I make that shit happen? Yeah.
I want my street bike in the works.
There you go.
I gotta go to the store. I found this perfect found this perfect store because that was the one episode we were talking about.
Right.
Like, what do you want? And write it down.
And you want the street bike.
I got it already. It's there. I'm getting it. I want to get it for myself for Christmas. So we'll see how that goes. But I'll definitely be riding one next summer.
Did you hear all of that? Did you hear how all of those words he just used? I definitely will. I'll have it. I'll definitely have it by next summer. I want it by, right? It's like, it's already there. So it's already moving into the space of and I love this. Here's a wonderful manifestation practice for everybody. It's like, now start saying, I remember when I didn't have this bike. Because your brain will be like, wait a minute, what? And the more you say it, I remember when I didn't have the street bike. I remember when I didn't have this, because now it's like, I already have it. Right. Might not be here yet, but I already have it. It's already mine.
Gloves and all of that stuff now. So,
and that is like, gets the energy flowing. I've been creating this thing called the manifestation roadmap and just breaking down the steps that I use to bring my element into my reality, right? Like, how did I manifest that? And a lot of it was acting, it's already mine. It's already here, and joining element Facebook groups and following all of the element pages on.
Right. I'm on 4 different bike.
Right. And it's like, groups. I already have it. I'm already in the group, right? What's happening with this bike? What can I get? Like, how am I going to trick it out or do whatever that these other people are doing? And that just creates that feeling, and our brain doesn't know what's real or make believe. And then all of a sudden things start lining up, and you can be driving down the road the one day, and you're like, there's my bike. That's my bike. I got to pull over and get it because that's it. And it's the perfect price. It's exactly what I wanted to get it for.
Yep. Now I'm trying to figure out what's the next thing I want.
And that's beautiful. That's what we should all be doing, right? What do we want? And then when we get it, keep going. Alex Hormozi, I think I'm finally saying his name the right way. He's a social media guy, but he's been talking about these things, like keeping things flowing, but also what us silly humans do is, I want this road bike. We get the road bike, and then we stop doing any practices for something next.
Yeah, you get comfortable.
Right. And we become stagnant, comfortable. And then all of a sudden, right, a couple of months go by, and it's like, well, wait a minute. Why do I feel like I didn't do anything? I didn't create anything. What is happening? Because we stop. And usually, us silly humans, we try something for 4 days and quit, or we keep going and it succeeds, and then we stop instead of just continually going.
It's like working out.
Exactly. You got to keep going.
You can't think your muscles to be there. You need to do something about it.
You do, but you can think about it, right? Like, visualize your muscles growing, visualize yourself going to the gym, aspect, right? Do that stuff. Yeah. But sorry, I just wanted to throw that in there. But we're very interesting with how we stop ourselves from always succeeding because we get comfortable, or we think we just can't do it. So we stopped doing it. So road bike. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want.
What you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're in a space of everything that you have going right now. This is what you really wanted, right? You wanted
it is. Yeah. Everything that's happening is happening. But now I feel I'm at this space where I need to be really clear and specific on what exactly I want my life to look like.
Yeah.
And start moving in that direction. And there's so many things that just keep kind of showing up and popping up. Like you said, when you got here, my helmet is back out. Y'all can't see it, but my football helmet is over there. And, this connection to sports has come back and realizing like, I'd like to work with athletes. Like I'd like to work with their mindset. Yeah. Right. And how can you manifest that?
I never even thought about that. That's probably a big area.
And do that. But within all of that, then I start exploring, well, what would it look like if I went back to college for sports psychology? What if I did that? Right. So there's all of these things.
Dude, don't that just your brain just keeps going.
It just keeps going. Then I was like, well, where do I actually want to take this?
Right.
And that's why I said when you got here. So Eli coaches a football team, and I don't even know how to explain it. Is it like it's like a semi-pro team and they get a nickel to be on the team, or do they have to pay to be on the team?
They pay to be on the team. It's basically just a bunch of guys that could have been something, got injured or didn't get a chance to play or whatever. And this guy started a league up and it's been running for a while now. I'd say I've been in it 10 years.
Wow.
So playing and now coaching, going back to playing. It's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting. And, I don't know. There's just a lot of guys that they're all like that. And I do it for the simple fact of I signed up when I was 7 years old to play football to have fun. Right. And then it got serious. And then when it got serious, it was like, well, now it feels like a job. I don't even want to do this. And I'm trying to bring that fun element back. Like I want to do this because it's fun for me. Like on Saturdays with the boys, you know what I mean? And now that's starting to happen for me again. So.
Right. Yeah. So, working with them and be like, what does, if you're an outside linebacker, what would having the best game look like?
I think that's,
I think that's sitting with area for you right. To go sitting in that. And, so if you're listening and you're an athlete, I'd love to work with you. And I'm trying to figure out a way to, put it. So that's like one of the many things that are out there. And it's like, okay, well, what do I really want?
Sports psychology is like, pew, pew.
Right. So
that's golden for you.
It's interesting to see, and we'll see what happens, how it all unfolds. Who knows? Maybe next season we'll be talking about. I
can't wait because we're going to take a little break with the holidays coming up, and we could have more family time and just give time to ourselves.
Yeah. And I also think plan out what we're going to talk about next season.
Right.
And, set things up. So we're bringing you all even more amazing content
and bringing people on.
Yeah. And that's all happening. We'll have guests and all of the things. And I think it's important for people that are listening are like, oh, I want to start a podcast. Start a podcast. When we started this, we were like, all right, should we do a couple? Should we do 12, 13? Should we keep going? And we just kind of flowed with it naturally, but we started. Right. And we're like, okay, let's take a little break, regroup, see what it would actually look like if we keep going. So if you're listening out there and you want to start something and create, goals that are achievable. So instead of saying, if you've never done a podcast or anything, and say, I'm going to do a podcast every day for a year. Does that really make sense? What if you say, I'm going to do 8 episodes and see what happens? Maybe you won't like it. Maybe you'll love it. But I will tell you this, at the end of 8 episodes, you probably still aren't going to have your own authentic voice, right? Like we still don't have our own authentic voice. We really don't know what the show is about. Right. We're just talking about things. But the more we do it, the more we learn. Yep. Right. So now we have these 12 episodes, everything from, I made a list, people, everything from taking your shot, right? Taking that chance. What pushed Elijah and I to where we are, manifesting all of these things, right? They were great little episodes, but really, like we were just saying, what do we want? What do we want for the show? And you all get to experience it, right? As we literally have a conversation right now about, right? What does season 2 look like? What do we want it to look like? Same thing with your life. What do you want your life to look like? Plan. Take some freaking time and plan.
That's what you got to do, man. Plan it out, right? I hate writing things down, right? I was never like that. And talking it out, you learn, like, if you're looking for an answer for something, and this is 9 times out of the 10 for me, I'm looking for an answer for something and I talk it out with somebody, I come up with the answer. Mm-hmm. I'm not getting an answer back. One of my good friends, I'll ask him a question wanting the answer, and he asks me a question back.
Mm-hmm. That's the key. That's the beauty right there. I love how these random things are just popping out, because that's coaching. That's life coaching, mindset coaching. It's all of it. A coach, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to ask you questions to make you go inside yourself and actually figure out what the answer is, because you already have it. But when you're actually with somebody talking it out, or just asking yourself why, and keep exploring, right? Like, and for everybody that's listening, and maybe you've never had a coach or anything like that in your life, look into it. It's not about someone telling you what to do. It's about someone pointing you back to yourself and showing you that you actually are enough, and everything you need is within you to create whatever life you want. You do have to do some work. You definitely have to do some work.
Right. Even listening to people, man, you got to pay attention.
Well, that's the key, I think, with everything. I mean, if you can, because we just want to be heard, and not in like, look at me, but humans want to be heard. We want people to listen to us. So if a friend comes up and, is talking, listen. When you're talking to your family, listen, be present. It's amazing what happens when we actually listen to people. Yeah.
I heard my friend out in Arizona sent me a video on Instagram, and it was of this dude saying, real power is control. And where I come from, real power is like the strongest guy in the room, right? Like, watch out, because that guy is crazy. You never know what he could do. And when I heard it, I'm like, thank you. I needed that, because I'm at a point where, like, I'll break shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'll fuck some shit up. But now I'm like, you know what? Having control, knowing you can explode, but you don't, is real control. And that's one thing I want to work on over the break. So
I just finished reading this book for I don't even know how many times. It's Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. It's only 4 chapters. It's really short. And in it talks about feeling, right? If we can feel into whatever it is that we're creating. And when we go to bed, literally right before you go to bed, feel into that feeling. What would it feel like to be on that motorcycle? What would tomorrow feel like for what you're doing? And when we do that, we prime our brain to be ready for what we actually want. When we don't do that, when we wake up in the morning, what we have is our control over how we're going to act or react, right? So if we're not priming our brain before we go to bed, setting intentions for how we want tomorrow, the week to go, when we wake up without that, we're waking up with only the ability, how am I going to act or react? And when we can control that, most of the time, our reaction, right? And not get pissed off, not want to smash shit, but instead you're like, oh, wait, if I actually come back to myself and not break shit, I'm going to have more power for me. But if I break shit and give my power away, then I'm just giving my power away. And that's with everything, breaking shit, yelling at your loved one, doing anything, right? How are we acting, or how are we reacting? All right, we're back. There may have been a little interruption there if you're watching. But we're back. We're back. So how are we reacting? Listening. We're taking a little break, and we're going to be back. We don't know when we'll be back exactly, but season 2 will be coming back with interviews, talking with people, sharing, diving deeper into all of the things. Right. I can't wait to talk. I want to talk to an astrologist, a dietitian. I got about 4 or 5 friends that want to get on here, and some of them already have their own podcast. So it's kind of a podcast for podcasting. Yeah. So we'll be setting up all of the interviews. If there's anyone that you would like us to talk to, connect us to them. ponderingfellows@gmail.com. Send us a message. And anything else as we wrap this up?
Nah, man, just have control of yourself, control of what's going on.
Control of what's going on. And my card number 13 from the beginning of the episode is Mother Mary, love and peace. Let go of the need to be right. Choose peace. Choose peace, love and peace, Mother Mary. And very interesting, right? How we end it with talking about how are we reacting.
Self-control, yeah.
Right? Self-control. Let go of the need to be right. Because you might not always be right. Thanks for being here with us this season. Thank you, Elijah, for reaching out and bringing this into our existence and wanting to make this happen.
We got to start somewhere.
We got to start somewhere. And I'd love it that you just said that, because that is for everybody that is listening. You got to start somewhere. Just start. You might fail, but just start.
Failing is just lessons to learn.
Exactly. And I think we should wrap it up with that beautiful quote right there.